What's going on, guys? I'm Sep Thomas here, George, the coach of your San Francisco Arcaniners, and today I have for you my week number 2 match against the Real Marill, or Mega Magui or Miguel. And just quick couple things before I get into it. If my voice sounds different, my headset, I do have it on right now, but the mic is not actually picking up any of my audio. It's weird, I don't know, so I'm using my built-in mic in my computer, which I don't think is bad, but I don't think it's up to the standard of a headset still. So I'm sorry if it's different. I'm sorry about that. Also, sorry about not uploading this week. I had the flu, so I'm pretty sure that's all explanation I need for that then. It sucked. It was terrible. I hated it, but it was there, and it was terrible. Anyways, why is my head so itchy? I'm going to quickly go over the team because I didn't make a team builder. I'm not going to explain the sets too much because now that I've recorded this I've recorded it before. I tried to. I talked for about 10 minutes on this team, but I feel like 10 minutes before the start of the video is not the best thing, as I'm just rambling right now. But anyway, AV Gothitelle to take on the Dragalge. Basically, I have the Psyshock, I have the Grass on HP Fire, and the Shadow Ball. It'll trap the Ferrothorn, it'll trap the Mew, it'll trap the Seismitoad, it'll trap the Dragalge, possibly the Emboar if it's choice locked like into Superpower. So yeah, that is the first Pokemon. My next Pokemon is a Choice Scarf Rotom. I have the Volt Switch and the Shadow Ball for stabs, and then I have the Hex and the Will-O-Wisp. The Hex is for combination with my Nidoqueen. I have Toxic Spikes on my Nidoqueen, as well as the Sludge Wave, the Flamethrower, and the Earth Power. That's the coverage I need, although I feel like maybe Ice Beam over the Sludge Wave would have been a better choice, but hindsight 2020, I do have the Sludge Wave, so that is going to be, that said, it is physically defensive, so I can take hits better. My next Pokemon is the Mega Lopunny, and the Mega Lopunny is a Power Punch set this time. It's a very big threat to his team. If I go +1, and if I go +2 for sure, and he doesn't have any Scarfers like the Braviary or the Mamoswine, I pretty much win the game right there. And so that's pretty much what I'm going off of. I'm going to try to win the game with Mega Lopunny. It is my win condition. I already know it's my win condition. No matter what kind of team he brings, it's my win condition. So yeah, that is that. And then my next Pokemon is going to be the Miltank, the defensive Miltank. This is my way of dealing with Emboar. It's a Chople Berry Thick Fat set with the Stealth Rocks, the Hammer Arm, the Body Slam, and the Milk Drink. Hammer Arm is so I can deal with things like Mamoswine much better instead of taking a little power away of dealing with Ferrothorn, as if I were to have the Fire Punch. Hammer Arm, it works as well in my opinion. Also, if I'm trying to Hammer Arm a Ferrothorn, that means I can't go into Gothitelle because something happened to Gothitelle. Can't go into Blaziken because something happened to Blaziken, and I can't go into Nidoqueen because something happened to Nidoqueen. So it's like a last ditch thing I'll be doing for it. The final Pokemon is a Blaziken. Choice Scarf Blaziken with max speed. The reason I have max speed is because he has a couple base 80s on his team too. And I can see him choice scarfing any of these base 80s. So if he's not max speed, I'll outspeed him. If he is max speed, well, we're going for a speed tie then, Miguel. That's what it might come down to. And I have the Flare Blitz, the High Jump Kick, the Poison Jab, and the Knockoff. I have Blaze, obviously. And the Poison Jab is to take on the Mega Altaria, and the Knockoff is to take on the Mew. So that is the team, guys. And without any further ado, I will get right on into the video. Alright guys, so here we go with the battle. He brought the Braviary, the Greninja, the Zapdos, the Mamoswine, the Altaria, and the Mew. The first thing I noticed is there is no Ferrothorn, there is no Emboar, and there is no Dragalge, so I don't have to worry about anything straight up OHKOing my entire fucking team. Looking at it though, I'm assuming it's a defensive Zapdos, choiced Braviary or Greninja or Mamoswine, honestly. I can't assume anything. The Mega Altaria and the Mew, it's a tricky team to guess, honestly. Because if the Mega Altaria is a Dragon Dance set, then the Mew is a defensive or special defensive set. If the Mega Altaria is a bulkier set, then I think the Mew could be a sweeper set. Anyway, my best lead is my Megalopony, because he doesn't have a way of stopping my fake out, and if he does, then I'll see it on turn 1, and I'll be able to pretty much stop it. Or else I'll find a way to beat it. Now, he leads off with his Mew as I go with the Megalopony. I'm just going to fake out on the first turn, and immediately what I realize about the damage is that, as I don't know what that is. What I figured out about the damage initially is that he's not a defensive set. There is no way he's a defensive set, judging by the damage. So I don't want to get burned, and I don't want to take a Psychic. But I'm starting to think that this thing is not as passive as I initially expected it to be. And he goes for like a substitute now. So now I'm thinking, holy shit, what set is this thing? And then he reveals the Nasty Plot. And then I actually breathed a sigh of relief, because this is an Assault Vest Gothitelle with base 110 special defense. And this thing can't touch me. It really can't touch me. I watched his team builder, and this set could have actually swept my entire team if he used it at the right time. I feel like he did this very premature. It was unnecessary at this time, and because of that, he actually lost his Mew within maybe 4 or 5 turns of the battle actually starting, because I am going to take him out on this turn with the Shadow Ball. Plus 2 flamethrowers are doing enough, though, to where my Gothitelle is pretty much pretty useless against his team at this point. The only thing I really wall with AV now is the Zapdos, but I'm assuming the Zapdos has recovery as well as is defensive and can take my side shocks. So I decided I'll just be a death fodder here, and I'll try to get initiative. And he decides to U-turn out, and I do believe he goes into the Zapdos, if I'm not mistaken. And I walked away from my computer expecting my headset to work, which is not the case, so I'm sorry if I got really quiet. I don't know if I did or not. But I go into my Nidoqueen here expecting him to either not have a move to hit me or to, I don't know, trying to force a switch right here. But I go for Toxic Spikes on this turn. He flinches me, which is annoying because now I have to make some kind of plays to get around it, and I go into my Rotom first. Now, I decided I wanted to burn this thing. I didn't think my Shadow Ball would do too much to him, as well as the residual damage on a Zapdos would be very nice. Now, he goes into Mega Altaria, and I try to burn it, and it misses. So I go from a flinch to a miss back to back. And I'm just like, holy shit, this is already not gonna be my game, as I go for another Will-O-Wisp and I hit his Mamoswine, which I found to be a very interesting play. Why would you let your Mamoswine get burned this early on in the match when you know for a fact I'm going for it again? I'm just gonna go into my into the Miltank right here. So he goes back into Altaria. Now this is where I kind of clicks a little bit. This Altaria, because the Mew was an offensive spread, that means the Mega Altaria should be a defensive spread. And if that's a defensive spread, then it has the Heal Bell. And if that's the case, then I did play it safe. If he was a Dragon Dance set, he is going to go for DD then. Want to go for Body Slam, I want to try to para him. But he goes for Heal Bell, and that just reveals to me that this thing is not a threat whatsoever on the physical or offensive side. I can deal with this then. I can deal with this very nicely, especially because I didn't bring the Scizor. So if you look at my team, how do you deal with Mega Altaria? Oh, the Scizor. I didn't bring the Scizor this week. I wanted to be a little bit different, but I'm going to get at my rocks here, and he's going to go for a Toxic, so that's just, I don't really mind that damage. I'm going to go for a Body Slam. I want to see how much it's going to do, and this does a decent amount to him, in my opinion. So I'm thinking he's not a physically defensive set. He's a bulky set, but he's not a physically defensive set. He has HP investment. I was calculating it. I was trying to see how much it would do. There's HP, except there's not a lot of defense. And I decided to go into my Needle Queen here, because if he was going to go for an electric type move, it would have been right there. Now here, I regret this play a lot. I should have gone for Toxic Spikes right here. Well, on the first turn, when I went for Toxic Spikes and he went for Extra Sensory, I got flinched. And I decided on this turn, let me go for damage. I have the Sludge Wave. I didn't even have the Ice Beam. I only had the Sludge Wave. But look at that damage. It did absolutely nothing to him. Which tells me that this is a specially defensive set. And Needle Queen is basically lost for no reason whatsoever. I got no damage. I didn't get really any extra damage on it. I should have gone for Toxic Spikes earlier on. Should have gotten them off earlier on, but that's just not something I can control. Because this thing actually doesn't have defog either. So if I had Toxic Spikes on the field, it would be a lot better for me. But anyway, I'm going to go into my Megalopony here, as I know he's not a specially defensive set. His really only way of taking on me is the Mega Altaria. And so I decided to return over Fake Out, expecting him to want to switch into it. And he doesn't, so he gets up to Roost. He gets up to pretty much the same amount of health. Now here, all I can think to myself is, if he wants to Roost again, if he wants to Extra Sensory me, I can take that, and I think there's a chance I can win the game here. Except I go for Power Up Punch, and he brings in the Mamoswine, and all I can think to myself now is this thing Choice Scarfed? Hell, is this thing Choice Scarfed? And I decide it's not worth risking it. It's really not worth it at this point in the game. I switch out expecting an Earthquake or a Superpower, and I head into the Rotom, and he just goes for Ice Shard. That's not banded either, so it's not banded, but it's just, damn it, I wish I stayed in. Except I didn't. So now I'm gonna go into my Miltank here on the Ice Shard again, which I will eat this hit like it's nothing for me. It did how much damage, I don't know. I couldn't even tell. I personally think the Toxic did more. But he's gonna go for a knockoff here. He's gonna knock off a useless item in the Chople Berry. It was for Emboar again. But I'm just gonna go for a Body Slam. I am gonna get a crit here. I don't think it matters because I didn't go for Hammer Arm, because I didn't want to go for Hammer Arm. In case of speed drop or something like that. Also, if you want to switch and save the thing, then I could Body Slam something and possibly get a Para. Here though, he's gonna go out into Tweety Bird, and Tweety Bird is kind of looking a tiny bit low right now. It is very low on health. Well, I mean, it's on half, but it's taking 25% on every switch in. I'm gonna go into my Blaziken right here, and because it's a specially defensive set, because it's not physically defensive, I don't know if it's actually specially defensive or if it's speedy or whatever, but because it's not a physically defensive set, I know my Flare Blitz is going to be doing a hell of a lot of damage. And if I somehow survive an Extra Sensory, then in Blaze range, something is going to take a hit and die, or something's just not going to appreciate the hit. Now, he decides to go for the Extra Sensory, and all I think in my head is, Blaziken, you just gotta survive this hit, man. And he just put his back against the wall and was like, I'm taking it, and I'm gonna go for another Flare Blitz. It's gonna be Blaze boosted this time. He's gonna switch out of the Zapdos, which is basically a death fodder now on the Zapdos because of its lack of HP. It's gonna take the rocks and it's done. I'm gonna go for a Flare Blitz, and it does a lot of damage to what I'm assuming is a defensive Mega Altaria, and that puts it in range of my Mega Lopunny. That's all I needed you to do, Blaziken, is put everything in range of the Mega Lopunny, and that's exactly what happened. Mega Lopunny's going to come out. I could possibly take him out with a return there. It would be close though. I don't want to risk it. Nothing wants to take a Fake Out anyway. So now I'm going to Fake Out, and then I'm going to return, take out the Mega Altaria. Now it's 3v3. I think it's the Braviary against Mega Lopunny. It's the Greninja, and he has the Zapdos left, and I have the Mega Lopunny, I have the Rotom, and I have the Miltank, which the Miltank is actually just going to get sacrificed off here to a Brave Bird. The fact that I kept my Choice Scarf Rotom around was really good by me, because now it outspeeds the entire team except if the Greninja is Choice Scarf. If it's a Choice Scarf Greninja, there's a chance I lose the game right here. Honestly, there's a chance I lose the game right here. Now, though, I am going to go into the Rotom, and because I'm Choice Scarfed and I do have a higher base speed, I do outspeed him. And now I can go for a Volt Switch, which will take him out, which might be his only way of dealing with my Mega Lopunny. And he's going to switch out here. He's going to go into the Zapdos as a kind of death fodder. And all I can pray is, please take it out. If you don't take it out, I kind of lose the game right here. Does it take it out? It does. It does take it out. And at least I think I would have lost. Would I? I probably could have come back somehow. Yeah, like return and fake out combinations, I guess. I had one more fake out maybe left in me. It all depends on if this thing could have switched in again. But anyway, I'm gonna go for a fake out here, and now I thought to myself, the only possible way the Greninja can take out my Mega Lopunny is if it is modest with a Life Orb, Expert Belt, or Choice Specs or something. Now, it doesn't have the Life Orb, it might have Expert Belt, and it might have Choice Specs still. It's the only way it can take me out. So my safest play is just trying to keep my Mega Lopunny at max health. I sack off the Rotom, go back into Mega Lopunny. Now I can go for Fake Out because he'll be dead on the rocks anyway. And he's just going to go right on into the... I'm blanking, I'm sorry. Into the Greninja, I already said it. But now I had to run a calc here. Return had a 75% chance to OHKO after rocks. High Jump Kick has an 85% accuracy. So I had to go for High Jump Kick. It had a 10% more chance of me winning. That's the way I looked at it. I had a 10% more chance to win. That's going to be the game, guys. We won 1-0 against the Real Marill, making us not 0-2. We had two very hard matches, and we're 1-1. So I'm really happy with that. Not 0-2. Thank you, God. I was really, really worried that was going to happen here, but it didn't. So, anyways, guys, that is going to be it for the video today. My next week's opponents are either Hayden or Mulvone. I don't really remember which one, but it is all division matches now, so we will have to face Miguel again, possibly a third time if we get into playoffs. And if we have to play him 3 times, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do, because this team was hard enough to make for him. I made this team after I got better on Friday, and then I did ask for a tiny bit of help from one of my friends on the last Pokemon, but the 5 initial Pokemon I made by myself, and it was very stressful, because you're thinking, if I can't deal with this, how do I deal with this? And then if I bring this, I can't bring this, but it doesn't deal with that then, and it's just, oh my god. Miguel is a very scary team. But anyways, guys, we came out with a 1-0 victory here against Real Marill. So San Francisco Arcaniners are 1-1, and that's the best thing I could have heard. That's the best thing after last week. But anyways, guys, I'm Sep Thomas here, George, the coach of your San Francisco Arcaniners, and well, peace out.